The UK should get rid of its colonial mindset. That's the message from China's foreign ministry, which lashed out at London's recent report criticizing Beijing's policy on Hong Kong.
Hong Kong has long been returned to China, and Hong Kong affairs are purely the internal affairs of China, which allow no room for foreign interference. We urge the UK to recognize reality, trends, let go of its colonial mindset, and respect China's sovereignty and unity.
The UK government report claims freedoms are being eroded by the Chinese government in Hong Kong, alleging authorities systematically crack down on free speech. Hong Kong was handed over to China by the UK back in 1997. The city was guaranteed a high degree of autonomy and freedom of speech under a principle of one country, two systems. Then in 2020, Beijing imposed a national security law to punish terrorism, treason, and subversion, which has been met with criticism from the West. With that in mind, Human Rights Watch is now sounding the alarm over violations in the UK itself.
In 2022, we saw the most significant assault on human rights protections in the UK in decades. From your right to protest, to your ability to hold institutions accountable, fundamental and hard-won rights are being systematically dismantled.
The report highlighted several new laws introduced in 2022 that weakened human rights protections in the UK. For example, some measures stripped the rights of asylum seekers and other vulnerable groups, while others limited judicial oversight and restricted the freedom of peaceful protest. Political analyst Alexander McKay says human rights rhetoric is just a tool of British propaganda, while the country doesn't actually apply such standards to itself.
Because the good old-fashioned British standard when it comes to human rights is never apply to yourself that which you seek to apply to your enemy. And the doctrine of human rights, particularly human rights as applied to the international relations arena, is always one that is only going one way when it comes to the standards applied from the British government. The British government is still somewhat, shall we say, sore at having to give up Hong Kong all the way back in 1997. With the disturbances in Hong Kong, which the Chinese authorities blamed on outside interference from the United States and Britain, with a degree of justification. Human rights is just a language, it's a piece of branding, it's a piece of propaganda that we never apply in Britain. The British government never applies it to the relationships they have in the world. The human rights concern evaporates like water on a frying pan whenever there's a few pounds at stake.